Hello, everyone. It's Jane for Student Pages. Hope you're all doing very well once again. Today, we are joined by Carson Minniear. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
I am so good, thank you. So, Carson, we are fresh off of Stranger Things season 5. It just wrapped up, I believe, a few weeks ago now. What a banger of an ending right there as well. So, yeah, you played Thomas in the series. If you could just give us a bit of a rundown as to how did you land that role and what does it mean to be part of a series that has such a massive following?
Yeah, so I did my original audition and I just sent it off, not really thinking much of it because, 99% of the time you're not going to hear anything back. But they said, hey, we like you. Can you just say this line a little louder? And we are like, yeah, sure. So I went and did it. And then I got put on hold for weeks and weeks and I couldn't cut my hair. My friends were like, Carson, why is your hair so long? I was like, I don't know. I don't, can't really say anything. And then I was out to dinner with my acting coach and my manager, and I thought it was to celebrate season 3 of my Disney show called Pupstruction, which we were there for, but they also said, hey, should we tell him why he's really here? And they were like, you booked the role of Thomas on Stranger Things season 5 and you're in Atlanta next week. And I mean, that was just a crazy, crazy moment for me. It didn't really process to begin with because it means a lot to be on this show, you know. It's a lot of people's childhoods. It's one of the biggest shows in the world. So obviously you want to go out there and perform and yeah, do well.
No, absolutely. Yeah, like you say, Stranger Things, absolutely massive. It is, I believe, one of the biggest shows of all time.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, massive congrats on landing the role there. So, when you were preparing for Thomas, then, were there sort of any similarities between yourself and the character that you managed to pick up on? Or, what was sort of your process to getting used to the character?
Well, I sure hope there weren't any similarities between us because Thomas is kind of a bully. So,
Yeah, he's out there, isn't he?
yeah, I have played a bully role in the past, so I got to channel that a little bit. I guess the only thing I could really channel from my real life was the baseball scene. I mean, that was obviously
Yeah.
such a great time working with Joe and all the kids. It was so fun. But yeah, what helped me kind of get into the role was even looking at some of the older bullies and Stranger Things like Jason Carver or whoever beats beats up Dustin, just looking at them and watching them how they do it. Hey, I'm kind of like the new generation of them, you know what I mean?
Carrying on a lineage there, a lineage of awfulness.
Exactly.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, what was sort of your exposure to Stranger Things before you got cast? Had you seen the series? What did you know about it? And, when you were preparing for the series, what kind of drew you to the role in general?
Yeah, so whenever the series came out originally, I was 5 years old. So I really hadn't watched it. I've heard about it, like I've seen clips on TikTok. My friends have been talking about it. But whenever I booked the role, I was like, okay, I really need to sit down. I need to watch this. And it's my favorite show of all time. I mean, the way they do things, especially being on set, watching how they work, it's just such a well-oiled machine. It's actually beautiful how they work. So it's fun.
No, I gotta say, it's like I've just sort of envisioned that in my own head. It's like imagine getting cast for something, not having exposure to it, watching it, finding out you love it, and then going, "Wait, hang on, I'm going to be in this soon." It's like that's got to be mind-boggling.
It was for sure. Just coming home from set and like, okay, I gotta watch the ending of was it whenever they moved away, I think it was season 3 before that. And I was just bawling my eyes out and I had set the next day. I was like, how am I gonna go to set? This is awful. But it was I made it work.
No, no, as I say, massive well done. I mean, season 3 is a brilliant season of Stranger Things. So yeah, that must have been a whole barrel of emotions going in there. But I mean, so if we take a little bit of a step back from Stranger Things, then just generally when you're going for an acting role, is there any kind of characters that you're drawn to specifically, or do you kind of like to spread yourself as far as you can and go for anything?
Yeah, so I really try to go for anything. Any audition that I get, I try my best to channel that character. But what I would probably relate to the most are like sports movies, like soccer, baseball, basketball, golf movies even. I would love to have been Happy Gilmore, but But yeah. Sports movies for sure because I've been playing sports all my life and that's acting in sports, that's kind of my personality.
You mentioned Happy Gilmore, but you were actually in a project with Adam Sandler, I believe, in Netflix's Leo. That must have been pretty cool as well. And again, you've obviously worked on Pop Struction as well. I mean, if you could just give us a bit of a background, it's like how did you break into this world in the first place? What led you to discover this love for acting and performing?
Yeah, I feel like there's a big, big difference between regular acting and voiceover, obviously. But voiceover, I feel like the auditioning process is quite easier. You don't have to get dressed and like make your hair look nice. You could go in there in your pajamas and just talking to a microphone, and I love that. Get to do it from home. Yeah, I just feel like I've always liked to perform in front of people from like an early age. Always like to be the center of attention. So, that came pretty easy for me.
Yeah, that's a good quality to have, when you're trying to go for roles like these. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, like you mentioned that the difference between voice acting and in-person acting. You're so right. Yeah, it's like two completely different worlds. But again, it's like, do you think there's transferable skills there? Do you think, if you're an actor, how would you suggest someone who acts goes into voice acting? Is there sort of a process to approaching that, or what would you say?
Oh yeah, 100%. There are definitely a lot of similarities. Even whenever you're in the voiceover booth and you don't have a camera on you, you're still acting it out like you're still using face emotions to get into the character. And even voiceover to acting, just being more animated, like for a Disney show, you know, you're not going to play a Disney show the same way you're going to play a drama. So I feel like voiceover and Disney shows carry over sometimes, comedy even. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of similarities that you could take away from each other.
Again, you're obviously like on the younger side of the acting scheme and stuff. And I'm curious, so for any students, maybe your own age or perhaps even older, maybe younger, what advice have you got for sort of, how do you break into that world in the first place? What do you think the first step should be to getting to where you might be now?
Yeah, so my first step was finding an acting class. Oh my gosh, DTV Studios, Dallas, Texas. I love y'all so much. Still my acting class to this day. They've truly taught me everything I know. And then second, just getting a manager, maybe an agent, getting the auditions and not getting sad whenever you get a no. Because most of the time you're gonna do lots of auditions, and most of the time it's going to be a no. And you have to take this mentality of send it and forget it. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different factors that go into the role. It doesn't even have to be your acting. It could be your hair color, your eye color. It's all the stuff like that that just goes into roles. So there is a lot of advice that I've gotten, but that's probably the biggest one.
No, that's good. No, absolutely on the acting classes, it's like, because they're so fun, right? As well, it's like you
Oh
make
yeah.
friendships and bonds in places like that you just can't match anywhere else.
Oh my goodness. Whenever we actually watched the finale of Stranger Things, we rented out a theater and I got to invite my acting friends and my friends from home. And that was fun because it was like both of my worlds just like colliding. Like I've made bonds with my acting friends really well. I've made bonds with my friends at home obviously very well. And so that was such a great time.
No, that's awesome. That sounds really, really sweet. Look, I'm going to pivot a little bit here because I'm curious about social media. Because obviously you've got a social media presence and you put your posts out and things. But how do you sort of view social media at your age? Do you see it as only a positive thing that can only build your career, or would you say there's downsides to it as well that you might struggle with?
Yeah, I feel like social media it can definitely be a good thing, but there are some bad sides to it. I mean, there are gonna be the people that are just gonna dog on you, but you just kind of have to not just ignore those. But I've always taken it as a good thing for entertainment. Like I can scroll on TikTok forever. I'm not gonna lie. I can just scroll and scroll and scroll. And it feels good whenever you make a post and you see people like commenting like, "Hey, I loved your work in Stranger Things." Like that. That feels really good. So I feel like there are a lot of upsides and there are a lot of downsides, but somewhere in the middle, I feel like that's where social media lands.
So you're saying there's upside downsides. I see it. I see the vision
Yeah.
here. I see it. I did actually see that one TikTok you made with the what's that trend recently where you wake up in the morning and you
Oh yes, yes, the
whatever that was.
Jake.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
That's I
goodness.
saw that one. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, we actually tried to film that one at the premiere, but in the after party, the lighting was just so bad. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna post this. And then he comes back to Dallas a few weeks later for a Netflix house opening, and we were like, you know what? We gotta film it. And then we filmed it, and it popped off. I mean, it was it was so fun to film with him. I mean, me and him had a great connection.
Oh, no, that's awesome. No, he seems like such a fun guy to work with. As I say, his character's
Oh
just nuts.
my
But
gosh. He's
honestly,
exactly how
yeah.
he is in the show, like that humor, how funny he is. He's exactly like that in real life. He is so
It doesn't
funny.
surprise me.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah. No, what a guy. So, I mean, in the wider industry of like, acting and sort of this media space, is there anything that you'd like to see change going forward? Is there anything that you think just in general could be improved upon by, the big heads at the high up?
Man, if I had to choose one thing that I feel like could be better, that's a tough one. I feel like maybe, you know what? being able to work after midnight. Because whenever we were on Stranger Things,
Ah.
we had to film a lot of night scenes, and most of the time, unless we signed an extension, we were not allowed to film after midnight. But it was so fun after midnight. Like, it just gave it a different vibe. It was great.
For a show like Stranger Things as well, where it is all dark and eerie and stuff, it must really get you in the zone at a time like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, the scene where Millie goes and then the Purple Rain starts playing and everyone was crying. We were on set for that a few, not the dying scene, but a few scenes before that. And it was just like she had a buffalo wing truck that she hired for like all the cast and crew. Freezing. I was watching the Dallas Cowboys game on my phone. It was great. It was so fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a hoot, honestly. So you mentioned earlier about, when you go for an audition, you can't always think that you're gonna score the role. It's like, a lot of the time you get rejections. So with that in mind, how do you prepare for an audition? Because again, you've got to be aware of that, but also you want to get the role. So how do you sort of balance that expectation and go in with a good straight head on your shoulders?
Yeah, so I feel like what I do is get prepared for the role as much as I can, study for it as much as I can, but don't beat myself up over it if I don't get a call back or anything like that. Like I want to get the role, obviously. I go in there, I do my best work that I can, but don't beat yourself up over it, because there are gonna be more fish in the sea, there are gonna be more auditions. So
No, of course. No, that's a great way to approach it. And I mean, is there any performers that you sort of look up to? Is there any that you've grown up with and thought, I want to do what they do? What were your inspirations?
yeah, so one of the first guys I had ever seen on TV was probably Jimmy Fallon. I've just been watching him for a while, and I don't know. I kind of look up to him a little bit, just like the way his comedy stuff. I love Tom Cruise, obviously. I mean, Top Gun, great movie. Adam Sandler, great comedian. All those guys. Will Ferrell. Oh my gosh, Elf, best movie of
What a
all
guy.
time, and
Great film. Yeah.
but yeah, he's definitely someone I look up to.
No, you got some great picks in there, honestly. It's like couldn't have said it better myself. So I mean, with that in mind, what are the sort of general challenges of being an actor, would you say?
Yeah, so one of the bigger challenges for me is school. Because sometimes you gotta miss school, but you gotta come back and like catch up on all your work. But I am a straight A student, so I think I managed that pretty well.
Nice.
But like traveling and stuff, that can be a challenge, but I seem to find it pretty, fun. I love traveling places, and just the fear of getting rejected. That's a
Mhm.
big thing. Circle back to again,
Yeah.
young actors. So that can definitely be a challenge, but if you overcome it, you'll be just fine.
No, absolutely. And it's funny you mention that as well because I think it's easy for people to forget that it's like even if you are an actor at a young age, you still got to go to school. You still got
Yeah,
education. It's so easy to sort of cast in the back of your head and forget about. It's there, isn't it?
yeah, it is. Getting calls from the school. Hey, where's Carson? Oh, sorry. He's in Iceland today. I apologize, but eh,
It's too busy hanging out with Jake Connolly today. Sorry, guys.
yep, exactly.
So obviously, Stranger Things has seen absolutely massive success across the board, and there's obvious reasons for that between like the production design, the amazing cast, the story that's being told. But equally, what do you think is making it at the moment in film and TV? What sort of stories do you think people are more drawn to at the minute?
I feel like what people are drawn to in Stranger Things would probably be the sense of nostalgia. I mean, I didn't grow up in the 80s, but my parents did. So every time they see like something from their childhood, they'll go, "Oh my gosh, I remember that thing. Yeah, I used to play with that thing." Yeah, and then for the younger generation, I feel like the sense of friendship for sure. Just in between the four guys, I mean, it's such a good friendship. Like they never really turn on each other except maybe a few times, but that happens. It happens. Well, welcoming people in like Millie or Eleven and Max. I mean, it's just so good. The Duffers did so well with it.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful story, and you're so right there as well with young friendships. It's like, oh, they never fall out except when they do. It's like, yeah, that tracks. We've all been there, I'm sure. So, I mean, look, I got two massive questions for you to end things out. One of them is if you could pluck like any role from the sky, any role that you want, any set that you want, what would that be for you?
This has been my dream ever since I've been 7 or 8, was to be the main character in like a big soccer movie, like Bend It Like Beckham, but for like a guy's movie. I feel like that'd be so fun because I've grown up loving soccer. Yeah, so I feel like that'd probably be it. Main character in that. That'd be so fun.
I see the vision. I see the vision. I see what you're going for there, and I like it. That's good. And I mean, yeah. So I'm sure you've got a lot to pick from here. But out of everything that you've done in your career so far, what is your proudest achievement or your favorite achievement?
My favorite achievement, probably, Stranger Things. It has to be. It's the biggest show in the world. It's definitely the most fun thing that I've ever done. Hanging out with all my best friends that I would say, like literally my best friends on set. It was just such a fun time for 9 months. Didn't feel real. It just felt like, wow, I'm on Stranger Things and I don't believe it.
No, that's awesome. Again, like another massive congrats for being able to land that. I mean, what an amazing experience.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, I said they were the last questions, but I'll go one last one because I'm tagging this onto the end because I'm curious, right? I think everyone has a different opinion on what happened to Eleven at the end of the series, right? Do you think Eleven is dead or not?
I don't know. I don't know. But if I do think back, I saw her finger like twitch and there was like a red glow. So I think she's alive in Iceland. I don't know. I don't know. I
So
mean,
what I'm hearing is official confirmation from someone on the show. We can run that as a clickbait headline. I'm with you. Okay,
you
perfect.
know what? Yes, do it.
Brilliant. There we go. We've landed it. All right. So, Carson, thank you ever so much for coming on. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everything you've shared with us. And again, just another massive congrats and good luck with everything you do in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.